Hello and welcome to Insights from Autistic. Today's video is about empathy, how I have experienced it through the years, and how it has evolved and grown for me today. So, growing up, empathy was not something I had much of. I mean, there was a degree I had of empathy, but not that much. And in my teenage years, I really wanted to develop empathy. I wanted to develop empathy because my mom and other people saying you're not very empathetic, and I saw these people and they could get people on an emotional level, and I just didn't get that. Part of the reason for lack of empathy is that for me, a lot of things I experienced, while there's like a lot of anger and anxiety, I didn't really experience like the true sadness that one gets when they lose someone, or true happiness that someone gets when they're in love, or things of that nature. I just didn't comprehend that. And so I couldn't, there'd be extremes, but it was more like there's like feelings and then there's emotions. So I would maybe have emotions, but I wouldn't have the feeling for it. There was like no heart, if that makes sense to you. It's kind of like, Data from Star Trek. He wants to become human, but he can't really feel that emotion, or the can't relate 100% to the feeling. Is curious about it. There would be times where people would be crying. I'd be like, "What's your problem?" Or I would like silently laugh to myself. Sometimes, when someone was really hurt, like my brothers or something, I would just say something really mean or offensive, and I didn't feel bad, and I didn't know why they were so upset. It just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, what is up with you? What's your problem? And it wasn't until 1997, the 5th grade, that I had my first real emotional breakthrough, but it still didn't help me feel too much empathy with people. But that was when my cat died. And that was a very traumatic event in my life. That was the first time that I felt real emotional pain. Not like mental pain. So there's like a mental pain that you can get from like the tantrum stuff, but then the emotional pain, like what's in the heart, like that was missing. Or it was like very subtle, like not too much of it. And I actually thought I was weird for being really hurt about my cat dying, because at that time, I felt like pets were just animals. That was like my upbringing, and the media didn't really put pets in the spotlight that they do nowadays, like in the 2000s. In the last 5 or 10 years. In 1997, there wasn't as much things for pets going on then, and so I felt like that there was something wrong, that I was actually so hurt about my cat dying. And I did try to understand empathy, but it wasn't until I met my first love, and she was a very empathetic person, a very feeling person that could really feel emotions, and watching her and being with her, I just from seeing her, and how, because she was like on one end, I was on the extreme end of not feeling empathy, she was on the other extreme end of being very empathetic. And so I learned, I guess, from watching her. Then of course I really learned after she broke up with me, and that was very hard for me, and I could understand how other people felt for a lot of things, not just a breakup, but a lot of things in general. And that was a real big breakthrough for me, empathy wise. And before her breaking up with me, that was very much lacking. It was something I wanted to learn. I really felt that was important to human communication in my teenage years, when I was really trying to learn how to reach out and communicate with people. Like I could learn from what was in the books, but the books didn't teach one how to have empathy, because empathy is not something you can teach. So it's something that you have to feel. And so as a kid, I was just a complete bitch towards people, because I didn't feel empathy, and I was like, oh, what's your problem? As a teenager, I didn't really feel for them, but I wanted to. And then later on as an adult, from going through my first relationship, I have learned how to be much more empathetic as a result. And I now have a sense of feeling for other people, and I now have a sense of what they're going through. And so that is how empathy has evolved through my life. So I thank you for watching this video, and wish everybody an awesome day of awesomeness. Thank you.